What's going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday morning so far. This is MYG Jeffy T85 here, and I'm just recapping the second half of the New York Mets doubleheader that they played yesterday at CitiField against the Atlanta Braves. Now, we all know what happened in the first game against the Atlanta Braves, where the New York Mets might have gotten a lot of production in terms of the bats, but the pitching was absolutely deplorable, as Denny Reyes came up and he gave up 5 earned runs in 1 inning. And then the bullpen spit the bit after Sean Murphy hit a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 7th inning off of Mets reliever Jeff Brigham. And even though the Mets tried to make a comeback when Eduardo Escobar was able to cut the lead to 9-8, Brett Beatty unfortunately lined out to right field, and the Mets dropped the first game 9-8. Well, at least it was a little bit more of a happier story in the second game of this doubleheader, as the Mets not only were able to get the bats going, but the pitching staff actually had a little bit better of a performance. Not great, but it was a better performance overall, especially from the bullpen, most notably Drew Smith and David Robertson, whom both pitched scoreless innings in this game. And even though Tylor Megill, who started the game and pitched 5 2/3 innings, giving up 4 hits and 3 earned runs, even though he struck out 4 and walked 3 batters, the Mets at least were able to get the bats going. And the biggest play of the game, the biggest difference maker in the game, is when the Mets were trailing 3-2 overall after Eddie Rosario hit a double to center field that scored Sean Murphy, and the Braves took a 3-2 lead. Young catcher who has been struggling all season since he got called up from the minor leagues, Francisco Alvarez, had the biggest hit of this entire baseball series, but this entire game, where he lined a double down to left field that scored Mark Hanna and Daniel Vogelbach, and the Mets got a big 4-3 lead. And then later in the bottom of the 8th inning, Jeff McNeil hit a towering 400-foot home run to right center field, which put this game out of reach. And then Drew Smith and, like I mentioned, David Robertson closed the game out, and the Mets were able to earn a split in this series, in this doubleheader, by the final score of 5-3. You had contributions all up and down the lineup. Jeff McNeil, his bat is starting to heat up. He had 2 hits in the game, including that home run that he had to right center field in the bottom of the 8th inning. He's now averages all the way up to 304 on the season. Brett Beatty had at least another hit, so his averages all the way up to 333. And Francisco Alvarez had 2 hits yesterday, which is the most encouraging thing to see, is that Alvarez looks like his bat might start coming around, including that big 2-run double that he had in the bottom of the 6th inning, which tipped the score into the Mets' favor. And that's exactly what you want to see from the young right-handed hitter at the catching position. Alvarez has gotten off to a really slow start, but the fact that he was able to get that monster hit and be the reason why the Mets were able to pull off this victory yesterday is an incredibly encouraging sign for the New York Mets going into this game. So the Mets ended up pulling off this very impressive victory against the Atlanta Braves. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that their bullpen, which was shaky yesterday, got the job done today, from contributions from Drew Smith, who ended up picking up the win. He's 3-2 now in the season, and he's pitching to a 2.45 ERA. And David Robertson, who, even though he gave up 2 hits yesterday, he struck out 4, and he's pitching to a tantalizing .68 ERA on this season. And also some more encouraging news for the Mets. It sounds like that both Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander are on their way back to the Mets starting rotation, as well as Carlos Carrasco. So the Mets look like they're finally getting healthy, and they're getting their rotation guys back when they best needed it. And this could be the most encouraging sign for this New York Mets baseball team, is that they're starting to get healthy when they need to in that starting rotation. They needed Justin Verlander back from injury. They needed to get Max Scherzer back from suspension. Carlos Carrasco has struggled at the beginning of the season, but he's better right now than the guys they've been trotting out there on the field. That's the most encouraging thing, and also the fact that Alvarez and Beatty both are starting to swing the bat really well. Beatty's been swinging the bat well all week, but Alvarez has started to pick it up in terms of his ability at the plate. Obviously, you want to still get some production from the designated hitter position. Vogelback has been up and down, but like I mentioned, you have those couple of kids down in the minor leagues, and Mark Vientos and Ronnie Mauricio. They could easily get called up if the Mets need some more reinforcements in the lineup. But the bullpen did their job when the Mets needed their bullpen to get the job done. Key hits by Starling Marte, who also had a big RBI in this game. The Mets need Marte to get going. He was able to get a big hit in this game. Jeff McNeil with the home run, and also Brett Beatty and Francisco Alvarez got the job done as well. Good job by the New York Mets. So the Mets win this game 5-3. They split this doubleheader, and now the Mets are going to get ready for the next game in this series, which is going to be, I believe it's going to be against the Atlanta Braves. I'm sorry, the Mets are going to be playing against the Detroit Tigers this afternoon and down in Detroit, completing their homestand. So they're going to be playing against Detroit at 6:40 going overall in this game. And the New York Mets are going to be having Joey Lucceshi on the mound going up against Michael Lorenzen of the Detroit Tigers. So if you guys like this video, hit the like button below and sub up to NYGJeffyT85. More news updates and chatter surrounding the New York Mets. Turn on the bell for notifications of the next video or short dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Mets. And let me know in the comment section what you think about the Mets' victory yesterday in the second half of their doubleheader against the Atlanta Braves, and your state of the Mets as they get ready for a 3-game series against the Detroit Tigers with Joey Lucceshi on the mound, seeing if he can try and up this Mets winning streak to 2. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Take it easy, and let's go New York Mets as always. All you got to do is you got to believe in those boys from Queens.